A year after the launch of the V30, LG has decided to go on better with the LG V40 ThinQ. This is a smartphone that can compete with anything else on the market right now, but will it actually sell? That is the question we're going to try and answer in this LG V40 ThinQ full review. If you enjoyed the design of the V30, you'll love the V40 ThinQ's beautiful rounded design and huge 6.4-inch OLED display. It is very bright, but unfortunately does not reach the 1000 nits seen on the G7. For the first time in the V series, the notch makes an appearance, but it's not as bad as it first looks, and LG gives you the opportunity to easily hide it from the settings menu. The back is protected by Gorilla Glass 5, where you'll also find the fingerprint sensor. In a clear response to Huawei, a triple camera is also on the back. We'll talk about that more shortly. The right side houses the power button and the tray for the SIM and micro SD, while on the left side there are the volume controls and a button dedicated to Google Assistant. On the bottom of the V40 there is the boombox speaker we've already seen on the G7, as well as a USB Type-C port and a headphone jack. That will be music to the ears of many LG fans. Under the hood is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 accompanied by 6GB of RAM. There's also 128GB of internal storage, although that is only available in the Korean version. In the United States, LG fans will have to settle for a 64GB option. LG has equipped the V40 with a micro SD slot to expand the memory up to 512GB though. Like many of the other smartphones in 2018 that feature a Snapdragon 845, you won't have any performance issues with the LG V40. Apps load quickly and multitasking is a breeze. The famous 32-bit DAC from LG is back again this year. Connect your headphones to the audio jack and get ready to dive into the best audio quality available on a smartphone. If you prefer not to use headphones or earbuds, the boombox speaker inherited from the G7 will do the job just fine. I've never heard a smartphone sound so loud before. Let's move on to one of the more pleasant aspects of this new LG phone, the camera, or should I say, 3 cameras. Some LG fans lost faith in the company in terms of the camera quality, but this 5-camera setup well and truly gets LG back in the game. LG has played its best hand here and gone with 3 rear cameras, trying to cover everything. Wide angle, check. Telephoto lens, check. The arsenal is composed of a main 12-megapixel sensor, a 16-megapixel wide angle lens, and a telephoto lens with a 2x optical zoom. The camera app is really complete with all kinds of shooting modes. One of the most interesting is the triple shot mode. It allows you to take a picture with all 3 cameras at the same time, so you can choose the best shot later. The optical zoom is disappointing. The zoomed in photos you take are quite noisy, too noisy in fact. Sometimes it feels like you're using digital zoom even when you're not. There is no lack of integration with Google Lens though, and the AI mode almost always recognises the subject or scene in an exact manner. Unfortunately, however, I must say that the adjustments of the shooting parameters automatically set by this mode have not always been to my liking. Especially in closed environments, the contrasts and colour tones do not reflect reality, and therefore I prefer the automatic mode. Video recording is stable up to a 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. Video recording is stable up to a 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, although the stabilization features are only available on the main sensor. Then there is a slow motion mode, which is able to record at up to 240 frames per second. Let's flip this thing over, where the 2 front-facing cameras take us up to a total of 5. Inside the notch there are 2 sensors, an 8-megapixel and a 5-megapixel respectively. The fact that LG has focused everything on the back this year is quite obvious. In fact, the front cameras on the V40 ThinQ do not differ much from those we've already seen on the G7. They perform well, and the first of the 2 sensors captures more detail than the second. However, once again, I can't help but find something that makes me turn my nose up. The angle of view on the second lens could have been greater, and the difference between 80 and 90 degrees is not really noticeable. Also, the total lack of autofocus in both sensors is not what I would expect from a high-end device like this. The battery also leaves plenty to be desired. The capacity, which comes in at 3300 mAh, does not have a positive impact on battery life, as you may have predicted. When setting the display to its maximum resolution and brightness, I was able to get to the end of the day with around 20% of battery life left. That's with some light use. I'm talking about Gmail, WhatsApp, some light music streaming, and some social media use. After my rather unhappy experience with the G7, LG has proved that once again it can compete with the big names in the industry. The camera is no longer its weak point, and I think that the South Korean company is one of the best choices for taking wide-angle shots in 2018. However, the device is not revolutionary, and my guess is that not a lot of consumers will choose this over some of the competition at this price point. This phone will only really appeal to audiophiles looking for a top-of-the-range Android device with great sound. So that was our full review of the new LG V40 ThinQ. Let us know what you thought of the device in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've been David for AndroidPIT, thank you for watching.